Scanning for audio.
Welcome to a Tin Dog podcast. This time, talking about the latest Big Finish release from the main range, monthly range, the HELLIAX Rift. Now, for those of you paying any attention whatsoever to my normal everyday life, you will know that I live in West Yorkshire, somewhere between Huddersfield and Bradford. And the trilogy that makes up those three towns is Halifax. And of course, being dyslexic, I read this as the Halifax Rift. Oh yeah, there was going to be a story set down my way. And for those of you also paying attention, you'll know that I recently wrote a Doctor Who story set in Jarrow, which was a cough and a spit away from where I grew up. So, I'm desperately trying to get Doctor Who stories set where I live. And let's face it, I'm not the only one. You've got people working for Radio Free Skaro, well, I say working, people who hang around Radio Free Skaro, producing the War Doctor stories, and then setting them in Canada. It's a perfectly understandable thing. We all want that tiny moment where we think in an alternative parallel universe somewhere the Doctor was just down the road and could have taken us away from all this, or something like that. Perhaps not. Perhaps it's just me. I don't know. Anyway, I'm distracting us from the review. No change there then. After 760 odd podcasts, you're gonna be kinda used to it by now. I'd like to think anyway. Oh, also on the distracting level front, I just want to keep you informed. Geek Myths is ready. I'm approaching agents again. And if I don't have any luck there, I'm going to do a self-publishing thing. So I'll keep you informed, and we'll all come out of this smelling of roses and with a nice book in our hands. However, my next project, well, apart from Geek Myths 2, which has a great title, and we'll be coming along with that one in a bit, is a children's series. Yes. Now, for the longest time, I've been working on an adult series, steampunk, history, alternative world kind of novel, called Jane of the Air. And I'd done shed loads of work, thousands and thousands of words, but it just wasn't working. I had a chat with my wife, and she said, "You've missed a massive trick." What do you mean? She says, well, it's not an adult book. It's got no interest for adults, really. I mean, alright, there's the steampunk market, which means that me and my mate Chris Ellis are going to really enjoy that sort of thing, but that's about it. And I know you should write books for yourself, because you're guaranteed an audience of one. But my daughter's really excited by this, and she's 9 now. And that is what I should be doing. I spent, 12 years working in the book trade, in the children's book department. I know my stuff. My wife's a teacher, I've got an inbuilt audience, and I will be writing the sort of story that just aren't out there. Adventure stories with female protagonists at their core. Saying the sort of thing about gender identification that I actually want to say and reinforce. Because let's face it, in this world, the only person who's going to change anything is yourself. So, that's what I'm doing. Jane of the Air is now being reevaluated and resegmented into a series of kids' books, and I'm currently bashing away at those really, really quickly. Yes, it just fits. It works. It's a better story, better told, and it doesn't have to be darker or have any extra levels of subtext that I was shoehorning in. The story now feels so much purer, and, for that, better. More elegant, faster, better paced. I'm using, well, I'll talk about that another time. Because what you're here for is for me to talk about the Halifax Rift. No, the HELLIAX Rift. So, crashing on, let's discuss this. Here's the synopsis. The HELLIAX Rift, Big Finish release number 237. Daniel Hopkins thought he knew what he was letting himself in for when he joined the top secret unit organisation as its latest medical officer. Racing about the countryside, chasing strange lights in the sky? Check. Defending the realm against extraterrestrial incursions? Check. Frequent ear-bashings from the unit's UK CO, the famous no-nonsense Lt-Col Lewis Price? Check. Close encounters of the first, second and even third kind? Check, check, check. But he had no idea what alien beings were really like until the day of the Fallen Kestrel, until the day he met the Doctor. Written by Scott Handcock, directed by Jamie Anderson. Now, rather weird for a synopsis, that doesn't tell you that much about the story. It tells you about the setup. And the reason it tells you about the setup is because this character's going to come back. Yes, he is a primary character, I think Harry Sullivan. But more importantly, that synopsis doesn't really tell you that much more about the actual storyline, which is genius. Oh, I also need to point out that if you're going to do it in the correct order, it shouldn't say Close Encounters of the First, Second, and even Third Kind. It should be the other way around. It should be Close Encounters of the Third, Second, and even First Kind. Because, you know, as sci-fi fans, we actually know what those encounters are. Or is Third Kind Contact? Oh no, Third Kind is Contact. It's right, I'm wrong, I need to shut up. Yeah, I clearly do. And if I was, you know, a man with any ego, I would instantly remove that and take that out in an edit. But I'm not. I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do is say that it's a cracking story. It reminded me in many respects of the early Big Finish releases. And the reason for that isn't because the structure wasn't particularly clunky or anything like that. No, and nothing bad. It's because you've only got the Fifth Doctor by themselves. Now, it's set in a post-visitation kind of time, which probably means that he's been travelling with just Nyssa in that gap where Tegan left for one episode on TV, but he's dropped Nyssa off somewhere, so he's travelling by himself. This is where you can fit those nice river song stories as well. You can cram them all into this nice gap of the Fifth Doctor by himself. And that's what happened in some of those early Big Finishes. You had the Doctor, especially the first one, travelling by himself. No companion, just there. And that's what the other Doctors were. And because you've got the Fifth Doctor, all rules are off when it comes to every other character. People can die, people can live, people can survive, people can be used as companions and then discarded. It all mechanically and narratively works gorgeously. Because you don't know who's going to survive, which puts you on edge, which makes you interested and pay more attention. Yes, you've got a fairly Image of Fendal kind of house in the middle of nowhere, you've got Wandering in the Forest, you've also got a brilliant gag about the Doctor being a vet, I know, and it works. But the reason that the synopsis on the Big Finish page reads like that is because this character, this central character, this brand new Harry Sullivan, but not quite because he doesn't really embrace the Doctor's travels. And as such is a brand new character with a new take, which is, you know, after 50 odd years is a pretty good trick. We're going to have a whole new set of 1980s unit stories and a whole new set of characters who, if they survive this run, can appear in new unit, if that makes sense. Even the Doctor describes it as 1980 something, which means it's definitely set post-Brigadier, but pre-Osgood time. Makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, the fact that some of the old guard are still alive means that they could appear in some of these stories, but they're not going to, because that's not what this is about. So, I don't want to spend too much time dwelling on the actual narrative, the bit that isn't discussed in the synopsis. Something's gone on. Some aliens are the Kestrels that have fallen. The Doctor is trying to find, rescue, save, help, or at least interfere with what's going on. Unit's got pretty much the same sort of ideas. As an invasion or things coming to you storyline, which is, let's face it, what Unit's for, it works beautifully, because this is story number 1. You've got to have a variant on the Auton invasion on the grounds that it's aliens coming to you. But, of course, why are they here? Let's not discuss that. it does have a, well, I don't even know. See, if I was to even say that next sentence, you could extrapolate out and end up with a spoiler. No, that's not what we're here for. We're here to say it's a great story. It's really, really well acted, and it's the beginning of a whole new arc for the Fifth Doctor. Well, no, not the Fifth Doctor. That's the beauty of this arc. This is the beginning of an arc for the character, for the medical officer, because, as it says in the extras, this guy's going to meet lots and lots of other doctors, have adventures with them. He's the ongoing theme, not the Doctor. You'll get to see him evolve and develop, and best of all, when these scripts were handed in, they were handed in separately but in order, which means that although, as a person, like in real life, you don't know what's going to happen to you in the future, in narrative they sometimes do know what's going to happen and they structure it that way. Well, that's not going to happen here. Later on, you'll have a backstory and that'll work. But there's no major seeds, if you see what I mean, like real life. So, with that, I'll fade away, play the trailer, and let you experience for yourself the wonder and excitement that is the Halifax Rift. Heliax Rift. And perhaps one day there will be a story set in West Yorkshire that I can relate to. And if not, I'll have to write it myself. So until next time, when I'm sure I'll be talking about Doctor Who, or Torchwood, or Attagirl, or a host of other things, be seeing you.
Halt! Don't move!
Oh, that's all I need.
Hands in the air, now!
Coming soon from Big Finish Productions. Doctor Who, the Heliax Rift.
Look at you. You're beautiful. Incredible. This world's never seen anything like you.
That's it. Closer now. Closer. Where are you?
We think we found something, sir. A police box. It's just standing in the middle of the woods.
Police box. That's all we need.
Well, this is all terribly civilized, isn't it? Guns and orders and shoving. It's almost like I've never been away.
Trap 3 to Greyhound Leader. Fallen Kestrel has been located. Repeat, Fallen Kestrel has been located. Over.
I'm presuming Fallen Kestrel is some kind of spacecraft, yes?
Nothing gets past you, does it?
My name's Lieutenant Hopkins. I'm Unit's Acting Medical Officer.
And what exactly is UNIT?
We're a specialist task force that deals with extraterrestrial intervention.
I'm with Unit 2, by the way. I'm also an alien.
Put that down! We'll take our time with this one. Soon all your secrets will be revealed to us.
Big Finish. We love stories.
Well, this isn't playing out exactly as I'd hoped.
2018 brings with it 3 brilliant conventions, all held at the Derby Quad. ShadowCon 2. The UFO convention will be on June the 30th, 2018. Hooverville, the best little Doctor Who convention in the world, is on Saturday the 1st of September, while Big Finish Day is on the 3rd of November 2018. All tickets are available from the Derby Quad website. That was the Doctor Who Tin Dog podcast, available on iTunes, YouTube, Twitter, RSS, Vimeo, and across the internet. Doctor Who and its associated properties are all copyright and trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. Why not become a supporter by visiting patreon.com/tindog. Contact the show on tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. The Tin Dog podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.